You're listening to Bizarre Buffet, a podcast of all you can eat weird. I'm your host, Mark Torriello.
I'm Jen Wilson.
And I'm Mark Bluestein.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
When we first went in, one of the people said, "Who are you?" And Tex said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business."
A 28-year-old Mount Holly woman is charged with murder tonight for killing her wife. This is the suspect, Laura Bluestein. Police say she shot and killed her wife, 29-year-old Felicia Dormans, last night at the home they shared on Mill Street in Mount Holly. Police found Dorman's body after responding to a report that an assault may have occurred in the home. The motive for the shooting is under investigation.
Hello. Hello out there.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hi, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happiest of New Year's.
What's everyone's resolutions?
My resolution is oh God, I don't have one. I
You
don't
don't
believe
do
in
resolutions.
I don't believe in them.
No, never.
Me neither.
Yeah, I guess we all are just kind of, I don't know. We're not resolution folk.
I know.
It's okay.
Fuck New Year, new
Fuck
me.
the fucking New Year and the new you, new me.
I mean, we're still living in poverty.
We are. We're still living in poverty.
Pandemic's still here.
Yeah, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm still waiting on my $600 check from our government.
I got mine.
I didn't get mine.
I didn't get shit.
God. Well, let's start off this episode. We're going to thank a very nice donor to the podcast.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Oliver Riggs on Instagram.
Thanks, Oliver.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your support.
Yeah.
It's very kind.
It is very kind.
Your support helps keep Bizarre Buffet going.
That's
Yeah.
right. It keeps me in new cowboy hats. And Mark and Jen just have no benefit. It keeps me in new cowboy hats.
Yeah, me and Mark we kind of suffer.
Yeah.
For my cowboy hat
We're
addiction.
making reusable diapers.
We are.
And we're sharing them.
Yeah. That's okay, though. It's for the betterment of the podcast.
Sure is.
But if someone wants to support the podcast, how would they be able to do that?
So if someone wants to support the podcast, as of right now, in every episode description on Apple and other places, it'll give you a link to Anchor where you can support us. And, we're thinking about doing a Patreon in the future. So
Yeah, tell us what kind of perks you'd like to see.
yeah, I was
we
going to
wanna
say, do you
hear.
want me to tell you what kind I'd like to see? Because I have a few ideas.
Yeah.
One of them is going to be an autograph photo of Jen Wilson, just Jen Wilson, and that's like at the top level. So everything in between is kind of lackluster. But let us know because we want to know your interests, thoughts, desires.
Yeah.
If you donate a certain amount, I will provide you with photographs of my feet.
Oh, so you'll get for package 1, Mark's feet. For package 2, I will send you a very explicit erotic voice note. For number 3, which is the highest tier, you get an autograph photo of Jen Wilson. That's it.
But it's like going to be just straight up 80s glam shots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that.
Right?
Sears
Oh,
portrait.
that'd be so good. Sears Portrait Studio, a nice fall backdrop,
With my hands clasped next to my face.
a nice French manicure.
So accurate. They always do that.
A nice French tip. It's a
Yes.
sign of a classy broad.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we now?
Well, I think for today's topic, I would like to ask everyone, what is a local murder that happened in your town or to someone that you know?
So I can't think off the top of my head of like a local murder, but when I was in high school, because we lived by a river that was like super polluted and like disgusting, and I feel like if you like jumped in, you would just become a mutant. But the crew team used to row on the river.
My God.
And a lot of times they would come across dead bodies in the river. And they would actually have to stop practice and sit there until like the
not funny.
police came. Until like they pretty much had like they would like waste an entire practice because if somebody like found a dead body.
Oh God.
Wait, can I ask what river this was?
The Passaic River?
Oh my God. That river is known for all sorts of jazz.
Yeah, it's really dirty and gnarly.
That's
Definitely not going there for a swim.
no, God.
Very refreshing.
And it would wreck your whole day and maybe even year because then you find a body, then you got to go to trial. Then what?
The creature from the Black Lagoon used to live in there.
Oh, I bet he did.
Yeah. He dated me,
Oh,
but he left me. I wasn't green enough.
well, his loss, clearly.
And I'm wearing green pants today. Literally, I'm wearing green
And
pants.
you had a green jacket on before.
I know.
Yeah,
I was doing the
my
whole green on
jacket.
green.
Yes, in memoriam, Green Swamp Monster. It's like the Academy Awards now.
Yes. So, Mark, what is a local murder that you can share with us?
Well, I grew up in a town called Irvington, which is in New Jersey, and it's one of the most dangerous cities in the world.
We know.
Or
Yeah, we do know.
At least in New Jersey. So yeah, people were getting killed there every single day. So I guess.
Well, what's your favorite
every
one?
day- every day was the local murder. But I'm actually going to talk about another one. There was a.
What's your favorite?
I just had to, drop the fact that I came from Irvington. But in my high school, I went to Roselle Catholic, and one of the students was killed by her mom, and her name was Nicole Giovanni, and she lived in Roselle Park, which Mark and I used to live
Yeah.
in. And unfortunately, the one night when she was asleep, the mother went into the room and I guess beat her to death with a hammer or a wrench or like something heavy. Yeah. And
Wow.
Is that where the term ratchet came from?
Probably.
Oh God,
But
it's awful.
it was sad because I was a senior in high school. She was I think like a freshman. I didn't know her, but I do remember she had really good hair. And that's all I have to say.
In memoriam.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? I think this kind of segues into
God, this does kind of segue.
Our topic
into
for
our
today.
topic today.
Okay, kids.
Personal one.
Everyone, buckle your seatbelts
I
because this
know.
is definitely a wild ride.
This is really a wild one. Oh God. Well, listen, guys. We like to bring you the salacious content, and now, I'm no Jehovah's Witness or Catholic or I don't know.
I'm a shaker.
Yeah, Jen's a shaker, but I happen to be related to somebody who murdered someone. I know, it's true. You never heard about this, and we've alluded to this on episodes before. But we're going to give a disclaimer at the beginning because people seem to be concerned that we're going to get sued. So you probably want to stay tuned to this episode and not bail out, and make sure you fucking subscribe because I'm sharing my deep dark secrets.
Yeah, we're bringing all the skeletons out of the closet.
Hell yeah.
So please subscribe
We're doing this for you.
for you.
It's all for you. Anyway, so yeah, my niece, who I grew up with, we were very close through childhood. Well, I'll tell you how it all began. So one day, I was waking up in Roselle Park, New Jersey, like Mark had just mentioned, and I got a text from a cousin of mine, and the text literally read, "What's wrong with Laura? What's going on?" And I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? I literally was looking, could not find out what happened. And then I was on Facebook, and I guess like there's a feature or something like, I know Facebook may or may not have news, but like,
I think they do.
right? I think so.
I can't keep up with the times though.
Well, we'll say Facebook for the sake of the story, but I see at the bottom, and it says South Jersey woman arrested for alleged murder. And this is when it was alleged. Yeah, right. Now, from that point on, of course, like anybody else who's a true crime junkie or a true crime bizarre buffet, I kept looking for updates, and it took a very long time. Like, I think this went on for like 3 years because it happened in 2017.
Yeah, it says August 6, 2017.
Yeah.
From the Courier Post online.
There you go. Carrier Post. Hello, Philadelphia, if you're listening. But yeah, it started in 2017. And I think it only came to like its totality in the end of 2019. Like it took years for this to be tried. Okay, so the police are called, and they're contacted by a family member who remained unidentified. And they basically told them, hey, listen, go to this address. I think there is domestic disturbance, and that was basically it. So the police arrive to the house, and I know they were outside for a while, and they were knocking on the door. And then finally, Laura, the one who I'm related to, came down. It's on record as it being said that she had blood on her arm, and she said something, she said, "That's my wife's blood. She's dead." So now from this point on, like the cops raided the house, they went in, and the officials found her wife, Felicia Dorman's, dead with a gunshot wound to her face. Now,
Wow.
Right. She was lying on a blue tarp, and police found more blue tarp, actually, as well as what they said was the beginning of a grave. Now, that's pretty fucking eerie. And I remember when I saw that, that was like on every news headline. And I might add that the Daily Mail, People.com, New York Post, every legitimate news source has covered this story. So this isn't something that is,
Made up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're going off of facts here.
Yeah, we're going off of facts. And also, just as a side note to everybody, you can find the whole televised trial on YouTube.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so she, a family called the police. They came.
Yeah.
And then Laura came to the door. She had blood on her arm. And they said that they found the early makings of a grave.
Yeah.
What exactly did that entail?
So what that entailed was there was an area of the yard, and there were tarps basically hanging up, like concealing the area. So essentially looking like a construction site, like, we're trying to hide, something. So upon investigation, they found out that she was trying to hide the hole that she was digging, and there were shovels there next to the hole.
Okay.
So
Multiple shovels.
I believe so. I believe there was more than one, at least two.
She's doing it by herself. I don't see why she needs multiple shovels.
I know, really. Maybe she was trying to get help, but hey, we're good friends, right? Can you help me dig this hole?
Just a few feet.
Yeah, just a few feet. I mean, listen, we don't have to do 6, like 4. God, sorry. I know. I mean, I have bad taste, but it is what it is. So, all right. So they found the beginning of the grave. And now at this point, she was taken into custody, and she was charged with counts of murder, tampering with evidence, as well as a weapons charge. Now, these are pretty hefty things, These are like, man, if you're hearing that, it'd be like, oh, well, it is not going to be a good evening for me.
Right.
Yeah. Now, at that point, I think I may have mentioned this, or maybe I didn't, but they obtained CCTV footage of her, and she was at a Lowe's. And, once they got the time frame down of the murder and everything, the video itself was very self-explanatory, but as you could imagine, the time synced up, and they had footage of her at Lowe's. She was purchasing blue tarps as well as the shovels that were discovered. So, yeah.
Was this before or after her wife was killed?
This was, the footage was, according with the time frame, was after she was killed. Now, we'll give you a little bit of the backstory. So you got all like the nitty gritty stuff, right? The bullet points, I guess you would say. So, Laura and Felicia were married for about a year. Now, I remember when this happened, just like a little anecdote for you guys. On Facebook, you send like invites for parties or something.
Right.
Well, I had received one, and I believe I still have it, and maybe that can be a Patreon gift. And I still have the Facebook invite for their marriage party.
Wow.
Yeah, and I never went, and the reason why I never went is because Laura and I were really close growing up. Like we did a lot together. She was honestly one of my best friends, truthfully. But we fell out of touch, like any friendship does from time to time.
So I have a question though.
Yeah,
Side
go
note.
for it.
Did she call you Uncle Mark?
No, funny thing, she was older.
That's a really good question.
It is a good question. No.
Wait, so-
Did she call you Uncle Mark?
No, she didn't. And I have a few nieces, but I will tell you, she's actually older than me.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're giving you all a big old fucking mind fucking right in your mind.
So how can you explain that?
Yeah, you want the details?
Yeah, we want the details.
So my dad was a lot older than my mom. There was about like a 16-year age gap.
Ooh,
I
daddy.
know, right? Lucky him. So he was married a few times prior.
Okay.
So Laura, who we're speaking about, she was or is the daughter of a half brother of mine from my dad's one of his previous marriages. So yeah, she's technically older than me. Weird stuff.
Interesting.
Does anyone else out there have the situation? Let us know in the comments. Tell us. Yeah. So, all right. At this point,
So you were close and you had a falling out.
And she didn't call you Uncle Mark.
she did not call me Uncle Mark, but I had.
Were you still in contact with her up until the murder?
No, I wasn't. Not at all. And I mean, from a humanistic perspective, I can say when this happened, I was very obviously upset to hear this and concerned and sad for whoever, who the victim was and is. But, it's a weird, range of emotions when you
Right.
find out somebody you were so close to, at the time, allegedly did this.
Wait, can we talk just a little more about the crime itself?
Yeah. Ask away.
Well, so how exactly was she murdered
So she was
or killed?
She was murdered. She was shot in the head, in the face specifically.
How many times?
Once. Yeah, she was shot once. And apparently, this is the story. So this is a little bit of the backstory. Going back to it, they were married for about a year, almost a year. Now, Felicia, the victim, her mother spoke to her the day that she was murdered. And there was a history of abuse during the relationship on the account of Laura to Felicia. And
side note,
yeah.
Not to say oh, that's interesting because
No.
it's sad, but it's unique to hear about a same-sex relationship in the
Yes.
media and hearing about abuse, because abuse does take place in same-sex relationships.
Absolutely. And I think part of telling this story, it's we tell a lot of sensational things and stuff, but also, we're out here trying to shine a light on real topics and things that happen in every community to every kind of person. And, this was two women who identified as lesbians, who had a troubled relationship and marriage, obviously. And yeah, I mean, I think that's probably part of what the appeal was for this story. It definitely sparked that interest in, the topic.
Now, how well did you know Felicia?
So unfortunately, I mean, I never got to meet her because going back to the invitation for their wedding, at that point in time, I was I'm not close enough to Laura. And I just we didn't have that connection anymore. Not that I couldn't have gone,
Right.
but I didn't. So yeah, unfortunately I never got to meet the poor girl, but
So before all of this, when you and Laura were close, I'm assuming that's when you guys were kind of growing up or as teens. So what was your relationship with her like then? And also, did you ever think that she could possibly do something like this?
So, I mean, Laura had like a lot of hallmarks of like a troubled teen. I can say that, you know, she had a lot of the typical, you know, getting into trouble, drugs, and this is on record. This is, you know, known. You know, she was arrested for possession and different things like that, you know, crashed one of her cars and, you know, was always in and out of rehab. So, you know, she had typical things, but, you know, I want to give you this explanation that's like, oh, God, she was so terrible. I saw her strangle a cat, but I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't.
I was actually
I would
just
hope
going
not.
to ask, like, what was the craziest shenanigans the two of you got into?
Oh God. I mean, we used to get into a lot of crazy things. But I'm trying to think of a really good one.
I remember in one of our past episodes, you mentioned that you guys went into an abandoned house and
Yes.
turned it into
Yes.
a clubhouse.
Yeah, we turned that abandoned house with all the trees around it into a clubhouse. I remember once when we were both like ditching school, she picked me up in like her mom's Hyundai Tiburon that was then her first car. She's like, we're going to fucking New York, bitch. You know? So I was like, okay. And then, you know, we went to New York. We used to go to Atlantic City and like, you know, I used to do a lot of like wayward teen things, you know?
Sure. Just like any regular teen.
Yeah, we locked like a friend of ours in the bathroom once because he was annoying when we were really young. So that could be like a psycho tendency.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sharing details with you now. You can't dispute my details. These are my personal accounts. Do you understand, Mary?
Salacious.
Okay, so I feel like we should get some other accounts though.
All right. Well, we have two other accounts that we can do. So our very own Mark Torriello,
Hi.
part of the
me.
survey. It's him. He's here.
Hello.
He has met Laura.
Here.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
I think I met her twice
Yeah.
because I have, and it's weird because it's probably around the time when we first met. So we're talking, what, 2009, 2010?
Yeah.
So I met her around that era. And my memory is kind of like hazy, but the first time I met her, I believe it was at her house or her parents' house.
Yes.
And I met your half brother, right?
Yeah.
And she was in a relationship with, I don't remember her name, but she was a very kind woman of color.
Yeah. She was very sweet. I don't remember her name either, but I remember liking her a lot.
I liked her a lot. And I almost thought that she was like too sweet to be with Laura.
Yeah.
Not to throw shade. I mean,
No, listen,
But I
get
just-
into the nitty gritty. Our
like-
listeners want it.
like Laura seems to be a little more from like that, you know, Courtney Love type of
Yeah.
Okay.
and I mean that in like a nice way. Kinda.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's like
there's only
I'm also a bitch, so
only
but,
so
like,
nice we can get.
But with Laura, like I could see her partaking in some of the behavior and the stuff that you told me, or
Yeah.
that you told everyone on the show about. But also, I just thought that like her girlfriend was so wholesome and so sweet.
I know.
And I remember like Laura is kind of like us. She would like curse a lot, probably.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, but I didn't think too much into it. You know, now that we know that like she's a potential killer, we're like analyzing everything that she did. I mean, like
Yeah, I mean, well, now it's, you know, confirmed killer, but at that point in time, we were like, you know, I mean, I guess like anyone else who has known somebody, you know, you watch all these documentaries and
You
you're
just don't want to believe it. There's like a part of you that just doesn't like, or you're just like so, it literally like shakes your world upside down.
yeah. Now, I encourage anybody, because this is public information, you know, go on YouTube, find the court footage.
And there's a lot. We watched a lot.
There are
It's like
hours. I will warn you, the fucking audio is so dreadful that even if you have your television or computer or phone turned up all the way, it's hard to hear.
It's hard.
So I would definitely suggest using headphones.
I remember when Mark told me about, the gunshot and the murder situation. I said to Mark, I was like, oh my God, remember the other girlfriend that we met? Well, she dodged a bullet. Literally.
Jen's face right now is like I'm disgusted but laughing. Oh my God.
Well,
I know.
Whatever, she did.
Yeah,
but
she actually did.
The second time, and more memorable time that I met her, it was at...
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. I mean, how cool is that, right? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. On with the show.
At your house, or when you lived with your mom in South Jersey,
yeah,
and she came over. We were in your bedroom, and we were watching old home videos of you guys.
A salacious point.
I know.
If you want to see home videos with a killer that have never been seen before, that's a Patreon gift.
We should find that footage.
I have it.
We were watching it, and there was like a clip of you as like a little boy. A big little boy.
Oh God! A big little boy, Jen.
Wow.
And
wow.
And we were like watching this like footage of you, and you're probably like 9 years old or something.
Very sad and chunky. Still am.
You did something. I don't even remember what you did, but you did something really flamboyant.
Oh,
like really flamboyant.
Oh,
and
I probably did.
And her and I caught it. And we looked at each other because we saw and we were laughing.
Oh.
And it was really funny. And that's like the only other like concrete memory I have of her.
This event should never have happened. Somebody, who should never, no one should ever lose their life, especially like this in a very unnatural way. But, I do think of these things and, aside from anything else, she was just like a normal, rambunctious child, like many of us are, like many people who are listening probably are. So, it's a challenging perspective to be in, but, something like murder is just not forgivable. So,
do you know what the fight, like, was there a fight beforehand?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
So the victim's mother, when she spoke to her earlier in that day, expressed to her mom that she, as in Felicia, the victim, had left food out overnight on the counter, and it had attracted ants.
Okay.
And so that was what the fight was about. I guess it's also worth mentioning at this point in time, before we get our phone call online here, that during the trial, and this can be found in the YouTube footage, one of the many videos, is that they were trying to pose it as, so the gun belonging to the victim, and she did not know how to load a gun or to assemble it or whatever, I don't know all the gun lingo. But that Laura was sitting on the bed and Felicia, who was on the floor, and they were like, oh, well, she normally sat on the floor, and just really trying to like paint this obscure picture that's just only making, trying to save the person who did the wrongdoing. Mm-hmm. And that somehow the gun went off. Now,
like by accident.
Yes.
So they're trying to paint it like this was an accident, a freak accident.
Yeah, that it was some sort of freak accident. Now, there's an interesting quote from one of the jurors. The first day of trial, the juror asked, does the extreme indifference to human life apply to the act or also the thing she did after the act?
So when they brought up the fact that she was digging a grave with the tarps. Like, what was the defense on
Oh,
that?
well, the argument was the very classic kind of, excuse me, my opinion, bullshit argument. The argument was, well, when a person is in a state of distress and they don't know what to do and yada, 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 the very typical type of defense, you know, which in some cases, yes, I mean, people don't always act in their right mind when in a state of panic. But if you're not intentionally killing somebody and something is truly an accident, I feel as though, you know, I mean, going and buying shovels and tarps is a pretty fucking extreme way.
It sure is.
You know, I mean, you just don't do that because whoopsie. And that's what the prosecution was trying to argue.
You know what I find weird though?
Tell me.
Okay, so when the police came to the door, she had blood on her arms.
Yes.
From her wife. But that would have meant that she went to Lowe's with blood on her.
Right.
Well, possibly, yeah.
And I think
so.
that's a little weird. I think that's kind of dark. Like I would have imagined like she should have like cleaned herself and then gone to Lowe's, but
Yeah. I mean, and that is dark, but you know, it's true.
yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's a twisted story.
So after the trial, and they brought the case that, okay, she was showing her how to load the gun or whatever. It went off and it was an accident. She got shot and killed.
Yeah.
And then Laura wanted to, I guess, hide or get rid of the body.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she was in a state of shock of what happened. So that's like the case. That's the story that they're trying to build.
Yeah.
So in the court or in the trial, how did that hold up and what was the outcome?
Well, you know, sadly, it held up pretty fucking well. The court system was seeking a 30-year sentence, which is 30 years to life, which is very typical during a first-degree murder trial, which now, my opinion, it is. I think it was, it's just what I feel. It's fucked up and it shouldn't have happened, and that's my opinion. But the jury deliberated, and they came up with a aggravated manslaughter charge, which carries a sentence of 15 years. And you are eligible for parole once you have served, I believe, 80 to 85%. So it is, I mean, a really big fucking slap in the face, in my opinion, to the victim and the victim's family. I think it's fucked up. It is what it is.
It is.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So,
Can I ask you another question?
of course you can.
So let's just say, you know, she serves her sentence. She gets out, and then down the line, she wants to reconnect with you because once upon a time, you guys were very close. What would you do?
No desire.
Yeah.
Would not have any contact. No.
Well, if you're listening, now you know.
I know. And now Ashley's saying she's going to bed. Hold on. And now we're getting Ashley on the phone.
Hello.
Ashley, before you go to sleep, we need your quick commentary.
You need a commentary?
Yeah,
I do. What do you think of the whole Laura case? You met her twice or 3 times or more.
I also want to hear, Ashley, like your experience, like with Laura.
Yeah.
Laura Bluestein.
Any weird interactions that you had?
Most of the interactions were normal. So, like, I mean, she was quiet, which is why I think Mark and I were, like, so shocked when it happened.
Yeah.
But our general, and I mean, here's my hot take, our general opinion on it was she kind of was really messy. Like, if you're going to kill someone, hide it better than that.
Yeah.
You know, don't show all the pre-planning and you're digging the grave and no one owns a tarp in their house. Like,
Coming in.
you're going into Lowe's buying all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Exactly. And I think Ashley and I had this moment because like I would keep Ashley updated as soon as I saw anything, because like we were saying earlier, it took forever for this fucking thing to go through court and all. So you would get like a new article every 8 months. But I would always send Ashley like the new ones, and she'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding? 15 years manslaughter? Are you fucking kidding me?"
Well, that's the other thing is that, like, somehow by some miracle, she managed to get a lower charge, even though you shot your wife in the face.
I know. It's fucking insane.
It's not like you grazed a kneecap, you know?
It's pretty straightforward. A shot in the, yeah.
Ashley's a straight shot.
She is.
A straight shooter.
A straight shooter. Pow. Sound effect. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, what Ashley is saying is what a lot of people think and feel. And I mean, it's true. You know, it's very true. I think a lot of people were probably so fucking disgusted when that, you know, news came out 15 years. Oh, and Ashley, I was just saying, not only 15 years, but like once she serves like 80% of her sentence, she's eligible for parole. Is that not fucked up?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's how it always is with the jail system because of overcrowding. You never have to serve like the whole thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, in her, really? My God. Well.
Wait, didn't her mom, like the mom of the wife, tell her that like you need to get out because they were having fights?
Yeah. So exactly. So the victim, her mom, she was like, you need to get out of the house. You need to leave, come home, and just get out of there, because it was already known that there was abuse taking place. And, you know, I think from what I read, I think that she was going to, and then she texted her mom and she was like, oh, I'm going to stay. But then, Ashley, I'm glad that Ashley brought this up, because then there was another point where, after the murder had taken place, do you remember this? That her mom said that Laura, the killer, had texted her saying, oh, Felicia's phone is broken. So if you don't hear from her, that's why.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing is that, like, I don't understand how she got manslaughter, because manslaughter is like, I accidentally hit you with my car. This was like, you clearly planned it and you tried to cover it up. So that shows you know what you did. You weren't like nuts or anything.
Yeah. And I mean, and really, like, you know, we all watch a lot of this stuff, obviously. So when it came down to it, like every conversation that like Ashley and I would have, it'd be like, there's no fucking way. There's no way she's not getting life in prison. And then
lo and behold.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's another perspective.
Ashley Naparano, everybody.
Ashley Naparano, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our dear friend, we love you. And we will talk to you soon, honey.
All right, bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye. So there you go, everybody.
There you have it. Wow. There's another account.
So wait, so she went on, Laura Bluestein went on her wife's phone and texted
her wife's mother.
Her mother-in-law. So yeah, her wife's mother, pretending to be her.
Not pretending to be her, but she basically Laura texted her wife's mother, I believe from Laura's personal phone, and said that, Felicia's phone is broken. So you probably won't hear from her for a little while because her phone isn't working. Yeah. Now, I don't know. There's something that is so inherently evil about that. Like, and I use evil not in the sense of like, a Catholic Christian, because I don't fucking believe that shit. But I mean, just like when you, like the workings of a person, like when a person can do quote unquote evil things.
Yeah.
Like you go out of your way to fucking text this person's mother. Like, why not just not?
Yeah.
That to me.
Clearly she knew what she was doing, and it seems like it was semi-planned out.
Yeah, you have a good point. I mean,
especially if you're going to be texting your mother-in-law saying like, oh, her phone isn't working. Yeah. Like, clearly you knew what you were doing, and it was definitely like, I don't know. I don't think you just wake up and say, I'm going to kill my wife today. Like, I think it's something that you probably plan out if you're going to murder somebody.
Yeah.
Who did the gun belong to originally?
So like back to the part of the story earlier, The gun, I think, technically was registered to Felicia, the victim.
Okay.
But for some reason, and this was part of the whole one of the many controversial aspects of this case, was like, why did Laura have access to it?
Or if Felicia was the one that had originally acquired the gun in the first place, why would Laura have to show her how to use it or load it?
Well, very good point.
I would assume, you know what I mean?
No, that's a very good point that you bring up, Mark, because that was what I believe the prosecution was saying during the trial. And they were like, but she shot a gun. Like, people knew that she had a gun. Like, I guess, like, you know, I don't know, what would you call people who are, gun people, gun enthusiasts, or like, I don't know, something in the realm.
She just utilized her right to own a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they were basically arguing that, well, somebody who has a history of like owning guns, how would she not know?
Right. Now, was there any, you could take this out if it's not.
No, that's okay. Go for it.
Has there been any like past like mental health issues?
To my knowledge, yes. I know that there was possibly bipolar disorder, something to that nature. Now, I can't confirm this as fact, but I would say like 95% sure that there was a history of that.
And where are you getting that from?
I can't reveal my sources.
Okay.
No comment. Salacious.
That's the word tonight, salacious.
It is. Well, this is really, we're dropping it. We're dropping our murder panties for y'all.
My take on it is, I think this murder was not something where she like planned it out like on a calendar. I think it was one of those heat of the moment situations where I think she had it in her to do something like this, and just that day it was like the perfect storm and everything aligned, and that's the day where she happened to snap. Yeah. And that's when it happened. And then afterwards she probably came back to reality and was like, oh shit,
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah. And I have to like figure this out. And I think that
I know her mugshots look like,
ooh. I can't even tell you the comments that I've seen on the mug.
Oh my God. Her mugshots look like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. Out of sorts.
Like,
yeah. Now, going back to when we were saying about like a history in drugs and stuff, which is all public knowledge, you can find this under any article referencing her past arrests for drug violations. There was an account of a neighbor who lived in their town, like a few houses over. And of course there was a typical, they seem very nice. They always wave. So I don't know, blah, 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 blah. But they believe that there may have been drugs being sold from the house. Now, this is an account of a neighbor who I don't believe gave their name, but it's probably on either NJ.com or one of the many, many news articles that was published about this story.
So if you Google her name, one of the articles that comes up is Laura Bluestein, 5 facts you need to know.
Oh, tell us all of them this
is probably a recap for everybody.
Yeah, here's a recap for y'all.
So the first one, Bluestein allegedly shot Dorman in the face.
Okay.
Okay, we obviously know that.
Yes, this is.
Bluestein faces 3 charges in relation to Dorman's death. As there's like a picture of her like leaning on a champagne bottle.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that on Facebook.
Bluestein had been arrested 2 times previously in New Jersey for possessing drugs.
There you go.
There you go. And could you reference the article for us?
This is from heavy.com. I'm not done. There's 5.
Oh, there's 5. Hold on.
Number 4 is that Bluestein is from Philadelphia.
She's not from Philadelphia. She always said that. Fun fact for y'all. She's from South Jersey.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference.
All right. So this is what it says underneath. Good thing that you said that, Mark. According to her Facebook page, Bluestein is originally from Philadelphia, but it says she moved to New Jersey sometime after. According to her criminal record, however, she's originally from Woodbury, New Jersey. Her Facebook also states that she studied at Rowan University from 2014 to 2016. Rowan is a public university based in Glassboro, New Jersey, with a satellite campus in Camden. It was founded in 1923 and is considered a public research university.
That could be a good advertisement for Rowan, Jen.
And the last one is Bluestein and Dormans got married in 2016 with a picture of a fat blunt in her mouth.
Wow. Well.
Well, it's funny, the New York Post, the article that's about Laura, the headline is NJ woman gets 15 years for killing wife, digging her grave.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, now I'm glad that you mentioned the headline of that, because the public consensus, and I mean, this is all like, the journalists who have written these articles, there's like a level of, and rightfully so, I might add, like silent, like enraged, in it, because it's so fucking clear, like there are plenty of cases out there where you say, oh, well, you know what, this could be fucked up. We've talked about some of them on here. And, there are plenty that exist that we probably don't even know a fraction of. But in this one, I mean, it's so direct that even the people writing the articles are like, what the fuck?
I know.
What the fuck?
I can sense that.
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for Felicia and her family because
she seemed like a really sweet girl.
Yeah.
I know.
Like in the pictures, like she just seems like a wholesome person.
And that's like something that I would like to, bring into this episode that, I never had the pleasure of meeting her, but I will say that every picture I ever saw, she just looked like a genuinely lovely person.
Yeah,
she really did. And, you can get that vibe and from people and seeing someone and, it's really a shame.
And regardless of the outcome of the trial, I don't think it really does anything for the victim's family.
No. They don't get any sort of closure.
And that's what the judge said during the trial at the end. He said, ultimately, we can never give the Dormans family what they ultimately want.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Felicia's mother beforehand, and we will insert the phone number for the spousal abuse hotline, I believe, because I know.
Just want me to get it right now?
Yeah. So I know one of the things, I mean, I guess you could call it not ironic, but messed up, if you will. Like Felicia's mother worked with abuse victims as part of her career for a lot of her life. So, I think, for the obvious reasons why this is so tragic for her, even more so because of like her focus, her career throughout her lifetime. So I know that she's doing even more advocacy for victims of abuse. So
it's for the National Domestic Violence.
Yep,
hotline.
That's the one.
So some of this content this evening might be a little triggering for some of you out there. For those of you who are in an abusive relationship or a domestic abusive partnership, we'd like to encourage you to call the
National Domestic Violence Hotline.
And what's that number? The
number for that is 800-799-SAFE. And that's 800-799-7233.
Wonderful. All right. Well, is there anything that we should touch on that we have not already touched on?
No, I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for sharing this story. I know
world.
that we've wanted to do this one for a while and we weren't sure about how to go about it, but I'm glad that.
Well, we dove, we face planted right into it. Yeah. Well, everybody, I know we have social media where we harass you. And Jen, what is our Instagram?
We are at Bizarre Buffet.
And Mark, what's our Facebook?
Our Facebook is also Bizarre Buffet. And who are we all?
I am.
You're Mark Bluestein.
Yes, and also Jennifer Wilson.
I'm Celine Dion.
Oh my God. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Susan Powder.
Oh, stop the insanity.
Stop the insanity.
Oh my God. Well, listen, everybody. It's been so nice. I hope you're all naked, listening very closely to our voices.
Look out for our OnlyFans page.
Our OnlyFans Patreon page.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, please subscribe and listen. Leave a nice rating and review because, we have a lot of crazy stories for you. And this is only the tip of the shit iceberg. So you better listen and support your local independent podcasters. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.